Welcome to the session on indefinite articles. An indefinite article is a word that is used when referring to a noun in a general sense. It is used to refer to something for the first time or to refer to a particular member of a group or class. While going through this session, we will understand the use of indefinite articles such as a and an. We will also look at the rules governing the use of indefinite articles. Before focusing on indefinite articles, let's first understand what an article is. An article is a word used with a noun to indicate whether the noun refers to a specific one of its type or whether the noun refers to its type in general. There are three articles, a, an, and the. Consider this sentence: a musician and an actor are performing together at the Prithvi Theatre tonight. The is a definite article, used with a specific noun or nouns. A and an are known as the indefinite articles, used with a noun in general to suggest any one of its type. Now let's take a close look at indefinite articles. The indefinite article is used with singular nouns when the noun is general. The rules are: use a before a singular noun beginning with a consonant sound, as in a boy, a woman, a microphone, a computer. Use an before a singular noun beginning with a vowel sound, as in an elephant, an egg, an electric fence. Let's see how the usage of a is different from that of an. The choice between a and an depends on whether the noun begins with a vowel sound or a consonant sound. Certain nouns begin with vowels that sound like consonants and vice versa. For example, we say a university. The word university sounds like university, which begins with a consonant sound y. So, a is used. An MBA. This word sounds like MBA, which begins with a vowel sound, so an is used. A European country. Here, European begins with a consonant y sound, so a is used. If the noun is modified by an adjective, the choice between a and an depends on the initial sound of the adjective that immediately follows the article. For example, a talented artist, an unknown client, an interesting project, a costly treatment. Let's now consider a case study. Pay attention to the usage of articles in the conversation and see if you can point out any errors. Asha goes to the neighborhood grocery store to pick up some grocery. Here is the conversation that she has with the salesman at the store. Click the icon to listen to the conversation.
Can I please have tin of fruit jam?
Yes, ma'am. What else do you want? Can I have list?
Please write it down.
Okay.
Jar of chili pickles, kilo of wheat, kilo of rice, and liter of oil, tube of toothpaste, the toothbrush, a kilo of sugar, the loaf of bread, and the packet of butter.
That's very confusing, ma'am. Please specify quantities properly.
What do you mean? This is way I've always made list and no one has ever complained. I won't buy anything from your shop. Goodbye.
Let's understand what went wrong between Asha and the salesman. The conversation did not end on a happy note for the salesman, as the customer went away dissatisfied. On the other hand, even Asha, the customer in this case, could not make the salesman understand what she wanted. There were some communication problems at both ends due to the incorrect usage of articles. Next, let's analyze the conversation, identify the mistakes, and fix them. Here are the errors made by Asha and the salesman during the conversation. Both of them made similar mistakes with articles. Asha wanted a tin of any fruit jam, but she did not specify that. So it led to confusion. To make matters worse, the salesman asked for a list, but forgot to use the article a before the word list. The rule that applies here is, you use a or an with singular countable nouns used in a general sense. The indefinite article is also used as a weakened form of one. Now let's go through the errors in Asha's list. The rule that Asha should apply here is, always use a or an with singular countable nouns used in a general sense. Also, always use a with nouns beginning with a consonant sound and an with nouns beginning with a vowel sound. We now come to the last section of this case study. Asha gets annoyed with the salesman and says, "What do you mean? This is way I've always made list and no one has ever complained. I won't buy anything from your shop. Goodbye." Here the noun way is being used in a defined or specific sense, so it needs the definite article the. However, the noun list is being used in a general sense, so it needs the indefinite article a. The correct sentences in this case are, "What do you mean? This is the way I've always made a list and no one has ever complained. I won't buy anything from your shop. Goodbye." There are several rules that guide the use of indefinite articles. Here is the first one. We use an indefinite article such as a or an when we want to express the meaning of a weakened form of one. For example, in the sentence, "I would like a cup of tea," a is used to indicate the weakened form of one. Some more examples of this rule are, "A car is parked in front of the house." "My boss owns a plane." "Sam is eating an apple." Now let's look at the use of indefinite articles when referring to a profession. We can use a or an to name someone's profession. In such a case, a or an must come before the name of the profession. Consider the following examples. She is an artist. He is a doctor. In these sentences, you use the articles a and an before artist and doctor. Now we will learn the use of indefinite articles in general statements. A and an are often used in general statements. Consider the following sentences. A banker is a person who works in a bank. An accountant must have good knowledge of arithmetic. A good pair of scissors should be used for cutting cloth. Next, let's see how we use indefinite articles when referring to something that has not been mentioned before. Here is a rule. In conversations and descriptions, a and an are used with nouns that name something that has not been referred to previously. Here are some examples of this rule. Suddenly we heard a strange sound. All at once an elephant appeared in front of us. In the first sentence, the sound that was heard was something new and had obviously not been referred to earlier. Again, an elephant appeared all at once. It had not been seen earlier, hence it is being referred to for the first time. Here we will learn how indefinite articles are sometimes used instead of per and every. Consider this rule. You can use a and an to convey the meaning of per or every. Let's consider the following examples. Once a week, 50 rupees a dozen, 4 times a year. In these examples, a has the meaning of per or every. For instance, once a week means once every week, and 50 rupees a dozen means 50 rupees per dozen. This concludes the session on indefinite articles. Here are the key takeaways. An indefinite article, a, an, is used with singular count nouns. If the noun is modified by an adjective, the choice between a and an depends on the initial sound of the adjective that immediately follows the article. The indefinite article a is the same for all genders and has no plural form. We use indefinite articles when making a general statement, referring to something not mentioned before, or naming a profession, nationality, or religion. Now get ready to practice what you learned in this session.